Hello and welcome to Fortnightly Frontier, a small little podcast about things going on in Star Citizen and Squadron 42 development. My name is Darjanator, and over there is Mr. Meyer, my co-host. Say hello, Meyer.
Hello, Meyer.
There we go. This is episode 14 of season 3, and 2.5 is just around the corner, is it not?
It is indeed. NDA.
Yes, NDA, unfortunately. Yes. I have good fortune to announce that at least one of us is in the Evocati. And by at least one, I mean one, and not me. So
Yeah.
I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, and Meyer can't talk about it because NDA.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so other things. 2.7 then.
2.7. Yeah.
Go on.
Not just 2.7. So everybody in the Star Citizen community who knows, who's in Reddit, who's on the forums and stuff, who's watched 10.4 and all that, they're all hyped for 2.7, which is like the promised land of Star Citizen, where basically performance is supposed to be huge. So we're no longer gonna have these 20 frame per second cinematic gameplay experiences. That's the hope, at least, anyway.
Yeah.
2.7 is supposed to come with a whole list of different things to make Star Citizen more of a game and less of a test bed alpha. It should be coming with things like procedural planets and a whole range of other things. I believe Star Marine should be in the mix somewhere as well.
Star Marine's coming in 2.6.
2.6. There you go. So 2.7 should be a more fleshed out kind of game.
Yeah, and 2.7 is coming with full Stanton system, over 40 locations.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but joking aside, I think we can talk a bit about
A bit.
2.5.
Oh, yeah.
Because there have been things released officially. Reliant Core Flight Ready, I think you're quite happy about that one because you have one, don't you?
Oh yeah, so the Reliant Core is one of those ships that are being released in 2.5, along with two other ships, two variants of the same ship from Argo Astronautics, I believe it's called, or Astrometrics. One of the two. But basically the cargo and the escargo, as people call it, the cargo variant and the transport or escort variant of the Argo. People who have seen the Moro tour may know what it looks, from the inside at least. Also, if you have caught the little snippets that people have been posting onto Reddit from the issue council, you may have an idea of what it looks like. I believe in the last stream we posted a colored version of an Argo from one of another citizen. Basically found the files and colored them himself. So it's not going to be cyan and pink. It's going to be I guess I can say black and yellow because pictures from the issue council. So
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say exactly yellow or orange, but yeah, I do suppose the what's the word? The paranoid freaks on Reddit and on the forums are gonna go like, CAG is going favorites again with Star Squadron with a black and yellow ship and like they usually do.
It's an interesting color choice, to be honest. I mean, it's not the only ship in the verse that has this color scheme. The Drake Dragonfly has its limited color scheme at being black and yellow, as well as the what are they called again? The Taketsu racing ship models as well have this black and yellow skin as well. So someone in CIG really likes black and yellow, regardless of the different in-law manufacturers. But there you go.
Yeah, but also I would say that black and yellow being colors for the Argo are apt because it is a maintenance, it is a working machine. So, you have diggers back on Earth, here on Earth that are yellow with black stuff. So, because black and yellow is the standard caution.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Color scheme.
It makes sense for it to be black and yellow. I mean, or like hazard another hazard kind of color, like bright orange or bright
Yeah.
green or something. But yeah, it's a nifty looking ship. I can't really go into more detail than that, but you can, however, speculate, and I can go, yeah, yeah.
With your punchable face. Yes. But before I punch you, let's go somewhere else to other topics. Um, uh, I wanted to talk about the latest series of Around the Verse, and can I just mention how monumentally their production quality has grown
Oh yeah,
from last
totally.
season?
Yeah, so Around the Verse is now entered its next season, and it is just a cut above what has previously been Around the Verse. Even though it's shorter in format, it's now just so pretty. Look at it. I mean, it's right above us right now. Yeah.
Well, yes, they went from recording Skype webcam conversations to actual studio quality lighting and audio and camera setups, which
Yeah.
is what we've been wanting,
Yeah.
basically.
And it's a turn for the better. I mean, even though it is shorter, they've managed to find a way to cram in more detail and more of what the citizens want and less fluff. Towards the end of the last season, they kept adding more and more fluff parts, and I think many people were just kind of perturbed because it's like, why are you showing us this flashback? It's kind of unnecessary. If we wanted to see it, we would have seen it in the ourselves. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think this is a turn for the better. I mean, it's like what 20 minutes long or so.
Yes, it's something that,
Yeah.
although I would say that those flashbacks have certain merit because it's not just the diehard fans and the backers
Ah, fair
who
enough.
just
Yeah.
who just ingest every piece of information the CG releases. It's new
Yeah.
people as well,
Of course.
and they would like to know what has been happening up to this point, not just where the development is
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, so with this new Around the Verse also comes a new Reverse the Verse. So Reverse the Verse now also takes place within the same studios which Around the Verse now focuses on. So not only have they increased the production quality of Around the Verse, but now they're focusing specifically on each individual studio. We now have how many? 3 or 4 studios? And so it makes sense to do it this way as opposed to kind of just spreading that week's that week of content into like all 4 studios. So next week, in the day after this goes live on YouTube, basically Around the Verse will be featured from Foundry 42 Frankfurt. So we're gonna see a lot of Mr. Brian Chambers, and hopefully in the Reverse the Verse he might be there as well. And then after that, I think they're going to F42 in England, where it's may not they don't have the same facilities, I mean, and in terms of oh, look at this is a video production studio for ATV, but that'll come with subscriber money and stuff like that as well, so
Actually, although I think I kind of liked the old quirky charm of Reverse Diverse, where it was just a bunch of CIG devs talking with the viewers, and right now it's more of a slightly less formal version of Around the
oh
Verse.
yeah, yeah,
So, but I like it because they are actually taking questions from the chat and answering them specifically. So
yeah.
it's not pre-scripted as ATV is.
Mm.
But I think that maybe they should start another stream that brings back the informal nature of it. Maybe Disco Lando could have his own stream that is just basically him interacting with the community.
Yeah, I mean, like I've personally never really ever watched a Reverse the Verse. It was too informal, if you know what I mean. It was
Yeah.
just kind of watching people hang out. But with this Reverse the Verse, for me at least, it was at least informative to the information. It pertained to the information that I wanted from Star Citizen. Like from they talked about things that they discussed in the Reverse the Verse the day before. I mean, the Around the Verse the day before, and yeah, I mean, to each their own, I suppose. I mean, Disco Lando is now frequently not streaming on Twitch, so I suppose if you wanted that kind of thing, you could hop on over to his channel to watch some Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Well, both types of shows have their merits. One, is basically just bringing more content to the people, and the other is more of a laid back, um, hanging out with the community, which is something that um, set CIG apart from other production
Oh,
companies.
tell me
You know,
about
their
it.
their their connection with the community, and I think that since RTV is no longer that, I think they kind of lost it. So I think
Mm.
I think that part should be integral to the
Right.
community team's interaction with the community. But I do like that Reverse the Verse now features a more direct conversation with the community from the devs, and it's not
Mm.
just the community team. Um, Step in the right direction, but I also think they kind of dropped some of the things they shouldn't have.
Fair
But
enough.
um, to each their own, I suppose.
To each their own. Yes. So what else then? I'll leave it to you to segue onto the next topic. The
Can
pressure
I
is
hoverboard
onto you,
next? Can I hoverboard over?
if you wish. It is
Mm.
2016.
Yes. um. Oh yeah. I wonder if either of us can get this new issue of PC Games, the German magazine
All
that
right.
got an exclusive to a lot of new features coming to Star Citizen,
Mm-hmm.
such as planetary landings.
Planetary
Uh,
landings. Yeah.
yeah, and well, basically just planetary landings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just how the whole thing is going to look. Maybe, well, they didn't really describe how it's going to be delivered,
Mm-hmm.
what the entire control scheme is.
Yeah.
Although they did say it's a lot more intuitive, a lot more seamless than it is with Elite Dangerous,
Mm.
which isn't really saying much because it's really wonky with Elite Dangerous,
Right.
because you have Super Cruise, and then you have normal orbital flight, and then you go into glide mode, and
Right.
then into atmospheric mode, and the glide mode is just really I don't know what it is. It's weird.
Falling with style.
Falling with style, yes, but well, if you're taking an if you're comparing it to real life re-entry into the atmosphere, or just
Yeah.
entry, because whatever, um, that is that you really don't have any control
Mm.
there. You just have to go. You just hit the atmosphere and slow down very rapidly,
Yeah.
and there is no control. But in Elite Dangerous, you're still in powered flight
Yeah.
and doing atmospheric braking at the same time, and it's it's confusing. And I really hope CIG does a better job at this. I don't
Yeah.
know how they will do it, because you still want the whole thing to be visceral and believable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so when you're hitting the atmosphere, you want to feel that it is a violent event.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then once you slow down, then you enter atmospheric flight, which they also showed in the previous episode of Around the Verse,
Mm-hmm.
and how different ships that are more aerodynamically shaped with wings and control surfaces will be more maneuverable
Yeah.
in atmosphere,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to just a brick that isn't.
Yes.
Um, yeah. Um, so that's coming in 2.7 in a few months.
Oh yeah, so
Cause
I
yeah.
can't wait. I can't wait.
Mhm.
I mean, they did go on about how, I mean, they used the Aurora as an example, and the Aurora looks like the least aerodynamic ship you can ever think of.
Yeah, exactly.
But even that had an
Uh,
atmospheric flight model. I mean, hopefully, I mean, all the small ships will be able to have some capacity to land on planets, but of course, some will be more capable dogfighters than others. I can imagine things like the Gladius having more of an impact on these planet-side environments. And so, I mean, it'll give you a reason, to have, to not just have a whole battalion of sabers, because perhaps maybe the saber isn't as atmospherically capable as a Gladius for whatever reason, I mean,
Well,
yeah.
looking at its shape, I would say that it is.
Yeah.
All Aegis ships look like they're built for atmospheric flight first
Hmm.
and, space flight second.
Right.
So as opposed to
A Hornet.
RSI ships,
Mm,
which are the opposite.
that's true. That's true. Those are like designed for space specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see, regardless, and I cannot wait.
Cannot wait. Yes, that's
Yeah.
basically all we're doing
Mm,
as being fervent fans of Star Citizen is waiting.
yeah. I suppose the a better comparison would probably have been the Hornets, just simply because of how heavy and boxy they are and look.
Yes,
Yeah.
but then again, it has quite large wings.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe that's something in between. But
Yeah. But we'll
then
have.
again, the Reliant, which is vertical. I wonder if it'll be more maneuverable in atmosphere if you move it into the horizontal mode. So it's basically a big wing.
Oh yeah, that would make sense. I would think that if you're in vertical mode while you're in planet side, you just drop
Yeah,
like a
it would
brick.
just drop.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
hilarious. Whether or not
It
CNG will allow
reminds
you to
me.
do that. It reminds you.
Reminds me of a quote from the Hitchhiker's Guide to Get to. Let me try that again, while not choking on my own saliva. It reminds me of a quote from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which goes something like this: "The huge yellow slab-like spaceships hung in the air in exactly the same way that bricks don't."
I have that phrase in my head whenever I look at the Aurora video with it flying. It is a brick and it hangs in the air just
Yes.
like a brick doesn't. It's great. It's
Mhm.
great.
Yes. But yeah, I wonder what sort of new gameplay and mission style this will bring, and how it's going to be implemented, and the whole atmosphere. They did mention something that the closer to the surface you are, the more dense the atmosphere is, and the more
Difficult.
the flight model is going to transition from purely space flight with thrusters to atmospherics with drag and lift.
Yes, lift is something that they said that they would like to get to, but will probably not be there by 2.7. But given the leaps and
Oh, yeah.
strides that they've taken with the whole procedural planets and stuff like that, who's to say it won't come out with 2.7? But it'd be interesting to see. It'd be interesting to see.
Yes, and on the other hand, getting closer to the surface, increasing the density of the atmosphere, would getting closer to the surface also increase the pull of gravity?
Perhaps. I mean,
Yeah.
by how much? Depending on the
Yes,
planet.
exactly. But how much? Or would it be, just you've entered this planet's gravitational pull and it's, 9.81 meters per second square from 100 kilometers up to the surface. That would be a bit odd, say the least.
Yeah. I mean, there's that. You could go and fully simulate it, or you could just go rule of cool and just make it. Say it's a game. Screw you.
Yeah. Yeah, but then
Yeah.
again, they are going the lengths of actually making life-sized spherical planets with gravity pointing away from the surface at any given point.
Did they
So
not?
they're already going from a flat 2D plane where gravity just points upwards to a sphere where gravity points in, various directions.
Yeah. Did they not mention that like planets will also have telemetry now? Something that they said that wouldn't happen before. Like they will actually. I mean, they'll have day and night cycles, but I think they mentioned that they'll actually also be orbiting stars.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah, they did say that was mentioned. I'm happy if that's the case. Very happy. Because that would mean that depending on the time warp factor,
Yeah.
the planets would be in different positions in the solar system. So if you start off at let's say Crusader,
Yeah.
and you want to go to another planet,
Yeah.
Microtech. Is a Microtech a planet?
Microtech is a planet. It's the
Yes.
ice
Okay. So
planet.
you want to
It's
go
hot.
from Crusader to Microtech.
Mm.
You get off, the floating island, and then you orientate yourself. Planet Horizon, Sun. Yeah, there it is, and go. And then 2 months later, you do the same, and it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
So you would have to look for it, and I think that would bring quite a bit of interesting behavior.
Yeah. I
And
mean, do you reckon? I mean, of course, everything that we have right now in terms of the Crusader map is strictly iterative and subject to
Mhm.
change. But with being able to find the different locations and stuff like that, finding your way from Port Olisar to Yela, your computer knows exactly where it is. Even if in the future they will be moving
Mhm.
around Crusader. So will your computer know exactly where these things are, or in the future will you need to actually know the coordinates? And if you went to those coordinates and it wasn't there that specific day, how would it work?
I think given the whole communications network, there's
Mm.
the satellites
Oh
already
yeah.
on Crusader. I think um, the entire computer network will be updated constantly with the
Right.
locations of planets. So I think we're safe there.
But with that being said, you can turn off those comm relays. So are you saying that you can make an entire planet go dark if you turn off the relay, so you can no longer find it with your computer?
That would be interesting. That would be a very interesting gameplay element
Mm,
if that is actually possible. But I
yeah,
don't
because
think. Well,
it's a,
maybe, but not soon.
yeah, it sounds really kind of reaching. It's
Mm,
like, oh, I can make this planet disappear, so no one can do this quest. It's a bit,
mhm.
yeah.
Or, looking at it from a lore perspective,
Mm,
maybe uh, an NPC pirate organization or one of those big organizations decides that, yeah, we want to take a moon. And they would go into the system and delete it from the records.
okay.
And then they would have a hidden base of operations that it would be a lot more difficult to find for them as well
Mm,
because it would keep moving. But nobody else would be able to know where it is either.
right.
And then maybe that would be one of the big missions. You have to go into the system and recover the information for where this lost moon is, and then go to it and invade the base and liberate the princess and whatever.
All right. With that
Hmm.
being said, I really, really, really hope that asteroid belts also don't orbit planets and they're just like static around them.
Why?
Well, I mean, hypothetically speaking, Grimhex is supposed to be in an asteroid field, is it not?
Yes, around Yellow, I
Around
believe.
Yellow, yes.
Yeah.
So if the asteroid belt is revolving around that planet, isn't it going to make Grimhex even harder to find?
Well, would it not have its own marker?
Well, it is a pirate base, so that marker would only be given to certain individuals in the first place.
Right.
Mm.
But if you're somebody outside the whole clique
Yeah,
and want to
yeah.
find it, I would say that it would make sense for it to rotate around Yellow to make it more difficult to find.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. All right.
But speaking of Grim Hex,
Mm-hmm.
before you put your smug face on, we can talk about some of the things that I have already released.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Yes, like how there are going to be hangars.
Oh, yeah. So they're gonna be
Yeah.
hangars. Yeah.
Uh huh.
Mm.
And I do wonder how those work. Is it basically just you fly in, the doors close, and your ship disappears?
I believe. Yeah. It's they're gonna be playing with instancing this way because
Hmm.
the hangars are meant to be a way of protecting your ship from grief because Grim Hex
Hmm.
is gonna be grief hex because it's pirate area. Like certain places on it apparently are going to be green zones. Some of them are not. So you know landing on a landing pad, of course, you leave yourself subject to bombardment, but like
Yeah,
if you
like we're all so familiar with Port
mm,
Olisar. Yeah.
yeah, so perhaps it might just be CIG's way of trying to first of all see if it works for Grimhex, instancing where you land your ships and then using those landing pads as strictly takeoff points. We'll have to see. But I don't think that you'll be able to go. I mean, maybe if you're in that same ship with somebody else in a multi-crew ship or something, you could go into that pad and then you're in that same, like instance together. You leave it and then it's gone. But I'm not really sure how. I don't think you'll be able to leave Grimhex through there, if you know what I mean. I don't think that
Mhm.
will happen. I think the auto valet system will just take your ship to the landing pads on the top, and that's how that would work when you're
Or
ready to
maybe,
leave.
yeah, or maybe it will be something similar to how Elite Dangerous does it.
Mm,
You land in the hangar, the doors close behind you,
right.
and once you exit the ship is, taken down into an underground storage facility and then hidden from view.
Yeah, yeah. So what I'm thinking is that those so what are they called again? the
Hangars,
yeah,
landing pads.
the hangars. Yeah, I was going to say the garages, but
It works.
yeah,
Garages work.
yeah, the garages, that are outside Grimhex that are not the landing pads. I think they will work in the exact same way. So you go in, park, and then it's saved, and then you can then go and recall it back at the landing pads out,
Hmm.
where the landing pads are on Grimhex. I think that
Yeah,
yeah,
unless landing pads are basically just there to land and then loiter, but the hangars themselves are meant to be used the way landing pads at Port Olisar are right now.
mm,
And if that kind of, starts making sense, I believe that they will change the way Port Olisar is to
right,
have landing pads and also hangars where ships can be
yeah,
taken
yeah.
either by yourself or autopilot after landing on landing pads and
Mm.
then, move into
I
storage.
personally don't believe that the landing pads in Olisar are land and loiter because on the PA system,
True,
it
true.
says ships left unattended will be, I don't know, like disposed of or something. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, it also just sucks from a gameplay perspective when like all the landing pads are taken up by ships where people have abandoned for other things.
There was a time in 2.4 where I logged in,
Hmm.
wanted to get a ship, couldn't get any, and went outside just on foot and saw 3 starfarers on strut
Yeah.
A.
Mm. Wait, three on the same strut?
Yes.
Huh. Hmm. Interesting. So like they're all
Yeah, because they were two of them were landed manually on 9 and 10
right.
because they are big enough
Yeah.
ish.
Ish.
If you're good, they're big enough.
Mm.
But yeah, 3 starfarers on 0, 9, and 10,
Yeah. I mean,
and all
mhm.
all the others were taken up as well, and I couldn't take a ship.
Mm. Yeah, so the only other thing that I can think of that they could do to solve this whole landing thing would be to make a sister satellite next to Port Olisar, which would basically be the car park, where you land on Port Olisar, and then the automatic system will then take your ship from the landing pad and then take it to the valet system. Sorry, will take it from the landing pad to that like garage in the sky, and then
Hmm.
it'll come back to you when you go to the sky deck and then call for it. But I mean, I suppose they could just make that garage part like just an extension to Port Olisar to make it. I don't know.
Hmm.
Mm,
Yeah, the way it is now, it doesn't make sense.
mm,
It's not. It doesn't even make sense from a factor of cool sort of
mm.
perspective. So yeah, I think Port Olisar is going to either it's going to see some changes, or they're gonna um, release it. Well, they release it. They're gonna keep it the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
But then once 2.7 hits and you have the entire Stanton system to work with, it's not going to make that much sense to be stuck to a single space station
Right.
because you'll have the entire system to explore and you'll have several other stations where you can be docked.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll reach a stage where maybe only 1 and 2 people will be at Port Olisar, and it's going to be just NPCs everywhere else.
I mean, with subsistence, that's totally possible because once subsistence, some subsumption, subsumption. Ha.
It's not a very easy word.
No, but once that's there, then yeah, places can be as empty as possible because NPCs will make it look alive. They'll be there living and breathing and stuff like that as they do, and they'll basically be what makes the universe look alive, even when people are not in specific areas. Olisar does have the capacity for 64 players, does it not? Because
yes,
yeah, so.
16 per strut.
Yep, 16 per strut with 4 struts. So, yeah, whether or not NPCs will have their own bedrooms if there aren't enough players to come and claim them and stuff like that, and will they leave, etc. I don't really know, but we'll see.
When do you think we'll start seeing more prevalent AI? When did they say some subscriptions come in with 2.7 or 2.6 already?
I don't think they mentioned.
Or 2.5.
I do not think they mentioned. I do not think they mentioned. And
yeah.
NDA. I do not think they mentioned.
Because I would think that the first step for AI subsumption would be people on foot. On Area 18 and Port Olisar and Grimhex and other stations.
Right.
So that would be in the first patch. But then all those NPCs would want to go to other places in standard system as well.
Right.
So they would start getting ships as well.
For those players,
because you already have AI pirates,
yeah,
and people you have to rescue, damsels in distress, as I like to call them. But that's basically just mission related. But what about just people walking, going about their business?
Yeah.
When are we getting that? Because that will be cool.
Yeah. That's a key point.
Actually having landing pads blocked by AI, not people.
Yeah. Soon TM. In that recent ATV, they did mention that they were adding all these little subsumption animations, a loiter command, lean against the wall and sit on the floor. And I think that all that will happen once the new contextual menu will happen. I do believe that came that's been mentioned before.
Is it coming? I think there was a very short list of things. Very truncated list of things expected for 2.5. Flight Ready Reliant, Flight Ready Argo, new use system.
Right. Did they say new use system? Oh yeah?
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, in that case, we'll just have to wait and see. NDA.
Yeah.
But going back to what you were talking about with the different systems and stuff, I think that, yeah, there would probably need to be more systems, because those beds and stuff aren't necessarily just places where you can spawn, but they're also essentially save points. Because if you have a ship that doesn't have a bed, then you need to go somewhere in order to log off, and I believe that those will serve the same purpose. Otherwise, when you do log off, will your character be just standing there and be assumed as an NPC, going all subsumption on just going? Or would you have to, Arc style, or will you have to go to a bed to then just disappear from the universe until you next log off?
I do believe that if you just hit escape while you're walking around an area, that eventually the AI will take over your character, and they would just either walk to the closest sleeping quarters or just lie on the ground and cover themselves with a newspaper or something.
I can't imagine somebody playing for 12 months, 24 months when the game comes out. He's an admiral, he's decked out in badges and uniforms and flares, and he just goes AFK, and all of a sudden you see this really detailed, really decorated admiral just go and then just lie on the floor, roll up a newspaper and then just disappear.
Well, you could also say that being an admiral, he is very he's seen the world, he's seen wars, he knows how to rough it.
And sometimes he just breaks mentally.
Oh, so much good stuff coming, and I can't wait for this NDA to lift and at least the subscribers getting access to the PTU, because you owe me a ride in the Reliant.
It should be a thing to happen. Sure. Yeah, it should be fun. The Reliant, is one of the only two-seater ships that are currently flight ready. I mean, like, uh, that actually
What
has
about
like
the Super Hornets
I suppose.
and the Gladiator
I suppose. I said one of the
and
only.
the Cutlass?
I suppose.
There are actually a lot more ships already in game that I kind of started losing track because it started with the 300 series and then, or was it the Hornet, and then the 300 series came out and now there's like 20 something ships.
Yeah, but it should be fun. I mean, it's okay. Well, one of the only ships out there that we have at the moment with where like both players are more or less equals on the bridge, looking straight forward.
Yeah. That I do agree with. It is a very unique ship.
Yeah.
I don't like the way it looks. I do like the way it behaves, though. Because I'm not really a fan of the whole Misk aesthetic.
I
the
love the
flying
Misk aesthetic.
warts.
I love it.
You do?
Yeah, man. I love the Misk aesthetic. It's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
To each their own.
Yeah. Definitely. I love it.
Yeah. And I also want to, putter around with an Argo. Me at the helm, you in the back, or
with the
whatever.
Argo.
With the Argo, yeah.
Yeah. Sure, that would work. I mean, the Argo. I mean, you mentioned before it probably won't have like a quantum drive or something, would it?
Yeah.
I mean, so what use do you think it'll have? In terms of all that.
I suppose just ferrying people to and from capital ships and stations, because capital ships won't be able to land at space stations.
Right.
And some of them may be even so big that they might not even be able to just dock.
Will they not be able to dock with I mean, like, is it a Bengal carrier or an Idris that you see in the
I think it's a bunch of Idrises and the Bengal carriers in the background floating in space.
Right. Okay. In that case, that makes sense for the Bengal carrier to be in the background, not being able to.
And the
dock.
Javelin and the big ships.
Yeah. So essentially, it's just a space dinghy. I mean, I don't think you'll even be able to use it. Let's say Port Olisar is the closest port to Crusader. I doubt it'll be able to ferry people from Crusader to Port Olisar simply because, I mean, like, it doesn't have a quantum drive, and Crusader is still a huge, huge distance away from the station. It'll take you days. I mean, not days. I mean, several time units to get there.
Yes, yeah, but you're right. Yeah, I think it would be just from ferrying within viewing distance, let's say.
Yeah. But
I so wish we had more to talk about, more actual contextual proof and tangible things to talk about. It's all speculation and NDAs at this point, and I'm sad. I has a sad again.
Oh, poor Darj. He has a sad.
I has a sad.
Yeah. Oh, well. So, yeah.
With that, I think this episode is about to roll to an end.
We didn't talk about two things, though.
We didn't. Oh, well. Smother me in honey and throw me to the lesbians. What didn't we talk about?
We didn't talk about Sir Liam. Is it? He's not Sir. Liam Cunningham, Mr. Liam Cunningham, and his appearance in Squadron 42. I believe that they kept his. Ooh, that's not Liam Cunningham at all. That is somebody else. There he is.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes. He, as well, alongside Mark Hamill, made an appearance in the PC Games magazine in the article about planetary landings. And I just wanted to talk about how great it looks. I mean, he's not a particularly handsome man. He's showing his age, but the way they've captured his essence and the way he looks is fantastic. I mean, he's not somebody I'd go for personally, but I can appreciate.
My type. Yeah,
he's not my type now. Especially if you compare it to the way Gary Oldman's character looked in the Senate speech. You can see there's just how much of that model was not
not
flexed
finished
out,
compared
fleshed
to
out.
compared to Old Man and whatever
Mm.
Sir Liam Cunningham. I keep saying Sir Liam Cunningham's character. Soon, Liam, soon. Whatever.
It's not Sir Liam Cunningham.
Yeah.
It's soon Liam Cunningham.
Soon Sir Liam Cunningham. Yeah, but whatever character he's portraying, I don't actually know the name of his character, but I think he's another main one. But just from these images from the what's it called, PC Games Mag or whatever.
PC Games Magazine. Yes.
Yeah. These images. I mean, the first hero model that we had before was that of as you said, Gary Oldman's character Admiral Bishop during the speech. That looks completely different, night and day, to what our good old chum up there, Mark Hamill, looks like now. I mean, like the hero characters, the level of detail that's going into them looks profoundly like it's just like crazy. So I don't know. They've mentioned before, like the main characters, like the proper major ones. So Gary Oldman's character, all the AAA characters are gonna have this like class A kind of like character model that just looks freaking amazing.
Tier 1, I think they call it. Yeah.
Class A sounds a bit nebulous. But but yeah. So I'm interested to see what tier 2 and tier 3 ones look like, and what tier the player character is going to fall into. Yeah.
From, if my memory doesn't fail me, I think they said that it's not going to be the model that distinguishes different tiers. It's going to be the animations.
The animations. All right then. So the models themselves will kind of have a more uniform kind of look then.
Well, basically, the different transitions between the wrinkle states, whatever they're called, and then you probably won't see them swallowing when they're talking.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And and the little spittle coming out of their mouths, but the quality of the model itself, I think, is going to be the same along all the tiers.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough.
That's my take on it, but I'm sure we'll get more solid information soon.
Okay.
So, yeah. And those hands, man.
Those hands, yeah. So
yes, because the hands are basically there all the time. When you're holding a weapon, you're holding something else, you're holding a little gadget, you're holding it with the hands, and it's so immersion breaking when you can see the polygons and the fingernails, and it's like 3 polys, and it's like, you spend so much time working on everything.
Yes.
But the thing that's like taking up a quarter of the screen is so low res.
Yeah.
Why?
You know what they say, the hands are the feet of the arms.
Yes, I suppose.
My bad. Anyway, yeah. I think that covers it really, with all the stuff from PC Games Mag and just some other general speculation.
Yeah. So, can we end the episode now?
Sure.
I'll go for it.
Wait, you?
Go for it.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today for the Fortnightly Frontier. This has been another great episode. We covered a lot of stuff, and we're looking forward to hopefully 2.5 should be out in the next couple of weeks or so, seeing as it's now out with the avocados. So, yeah. Yeah, it's been great. I've been Meyer, and as always, he has been...
Darjanator.
Aha, there he is. And as always, thanks for watching.
And we'll see you in the verse.
Yes. I forgot that. It was like, we'll see you in the verse salute. Not thanks for watching salute.
Yeah.